I've worked for the same company for about 7.5 years. I'd like to move into project coordination, but I feel like the company's put me in a box and I feel like there's limited room for growth. I've expressed my desire to expand my role and I've done it unofficially and I did a great job at it. Good. I love it when we take credit for the work that we did. My manager likes having me in the role and in the role that I'm currently in because it benefits her and she doesn't seem interested in my growth. How do I get out of the box with this organization, or is it time to move on? Anybody ever get stuck in the box? Anybody ever have a situation where you feel like, okay, I was really good at this thing for a period of time, and then now I've grown, and yet they're still looking at me like the thing that I was and not the thing that I am now or the thing that I aspire to be. Casey says all the time. I remember this happening to me early in my career in HR and communication consulting, that, the person I had grown to was not considered to be, people were still looking at me as the person who started. And I had a mentor tell me once, you can't be a preacher in your own backyard. And I think that's true in some cases, but for a situation like this that Lisa writes, here's a couple of thoughts of how to get out of the box and how to create new opportunities doing something that maybe not totally different, but that's more in line with, as you guys know, what I call your superpower space. So first of all, the mistake I see a lot of people make is not getting specific about what they want. Often people will have these conversations with their manager where it will be more like, well, if you think about it, or I'd really like to, as opposed to making a request, as opposed to being specific and saying, as I've done some deeper thinking about my career path, I really want to be spending a majority of my time in project coordination. What are the one or two steps that I can take to be able to have those opportunities here? So, you have to customize the words for your situation. But when we just kind of talk vaguely about, well, I'd like to, or, I'm really good at this, that people can't always put the links together for us. They can't always connect the dots between what I've said and a real action. So you may have to do the homework, Lisa, in your company for getting to something specific. And it may be asking for the steps, or here, even better, find the pain in your company that needs you as a project leader, as a project manager. It may not be your own department. You've been in that company for 7.5 years. So my bet is that you know people, that you have relationships with people. I mean, anymore, we don't kind of linger in jobs for 7 years that we haven't built a reputation, right? That we're not trusted by somebody. My bet is you have more trust and more relationships and leverage. So find the pain where they need more project management. Maybe it is something that's right in your own department. Now, you mentioned your manager doesn't seem interested in helping you grow. Well, yeah, because your growth causes a problem for her, right? Because you're good at what you do. And when you move into something else, that creates a hole. That creates a problem. This is also a side note for those of you who are in jobs and you're a little worried about whether or not you might be laid off at some point in the near future. The more you can be doing the things that your manager doesn't want to do, where you can be filling the gaps that your manager doesn't want, or whoever is the person that's going to have to evaluate that list. This is finding the pain, right? Where are the problems? Because when you're the person that, like, if you go away, your leader doesn't want to do that work and it still has to be done, you become more valuable. Okay, that was a side note. But so, Lisa, for you, find that specific thing. You may have to propose an idea. You may have to say, you know what, I've been talking to some of the different leaders at the different departments, and I believe there's an opportunity where we need a dedicated project manager in the shipping department. Would you be open to me mapping out what that could look like? And maybe the pitch is not to your boss. It could be to the person who has the pain. It could be to the head of the shipping department who's like, hallelujah, I didn't know there was somebody like you who knows our company and also can can do project management. So get specific with. Often we do have to call these things into question. And the mistake I often see people make too is that they assume because they brought it up and nothing happens, that, well, then it's time to move on. But they haven't put anything that someone could distinctly say yes or no to, like, I'd like to create a job over here. Would you be open to a further conversation about that? Yeah, I'd be open to a further conversation about that. Or here's this problem that I see that because I've done X, Y, and Z, I think I'm uniquely positioned to solve. Is that something that we could talk about how to make that real? Or what are the 1 or 2 steps that would be helpful for you if we were going to have that conversation with your boss? Make it specific.